Have you ever thought about what would happen if a crisis hit today? Are you prepared? Whether you're just beginning your journey into prepping or have been at it for a while, the reality remains the same. Crises can happen without warning. These could be natural disasters, economic downturns, or even societal breakdowns. The question isn't if, but when. This is where a prepper's stockpile comes into play. It's more than a collection of items. It's your lifeline in times of uncertainty, a safety net that ensures you and your family can weather any storm. With the world becoming increasingly unpredictable, having a well-stocked and organized stockpile is no longer an option, but a necessity. The first step to preparedness is understanding what you need. It involves assessing your personal and family needs and determining the essential items for your survival. So, are you ready to take that step? Let's dive into that. So, where do you start with building your stockpile? It begins with understanding your needs. Building a survival stockpile isn't about hoarding as many items as you can. It's about strategically selecting and storing items that meet your specific needs. So, the first step in building your ultimate prepper stockpile is assessing your personal and family needs. Consider the number of people in your household. A family of 4 will undoubtedly need more supplies than a single individual. Keep this in mind when determining the quantity of items to stockpile. Next, take dietary restrictions into account. If someone in your family has a gluten intolerance or follows a vegetarian diet, you'll need to stockpile food that caters to these needs. This might mean investing in gluten-free grains or plant-based protein sources. Also consider specific survival scenarios. What emergencies are most likely in your area? If you live in a region prone to hurricanes, you might need to prioritize items like clean water, canned food, and a battery-powered radio. On the other hand, if you're in an area susceptible to snowstorms, you may want to focus on items like blankets, warm clothing, and heating fuel. Remember, your stockpile should be a reflection of your unique needs. It should be tailored to your lifestyle, your environment, and the specific threats you may face. It's also important to reassess your needs periodically. Changes in your family size, dietary needs, or living situation may require adjustments to your stockpile. Stay flexible and be willing to adapt your stockpile to meet evolving needs. Building a survival stockpile is a dynamic process. It's not just about accumulating items, it's about creating a safety net that's tailored to your needs, flexible enough to adapt to changing circumstances, and robust enough to withstand whatever life throws your way. Now that you've assessed your needs, let's move on to what items are essential for your stockpile. A well-rounded stockpile includes key categories of items. Let's explore what these are. First up is food. Non-perishable food items are a must-have in any prepper's stockpile. Think canned goods, dried fruits, nuts, and grains. These items have long shelf lives and can provide essential nutrients during a crisis. Also, don't forget to consider dietary restrictions and preferences. You wouldn't want to stock up on canned beans if your family can't stand them, right? Next, water. It's crucial to have a sustainable water source. This means not only storing clean drinking water, but also having the means to purify water if necessary. Water purification tablets, filters, or boiling equipment can be lifesavers in a pinch. Medical supplies are another critical category. A well-stocked first aid kit can make a significant difference in a crisis. This should include basics like bandages, antiseptics, and pain relievers, but also prescription medications and any specific medical supplies your family might need. Remember, it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Last but not least, survival gear. This includes items like flashlights, batteries, multi-tools, fire starters, and a good quality knife. These can help you navigate in the dark, start a fire for warmth or cooking, and perform a multitude of tasks that can be crucial for survival. When it comes to choosing these items, quality is key. You want items that are durable and reliable, especially when it comes to survival gear. Opt for brands with a good reputation and read reviews before you buy. It might be tempting to go for the cheapest option, but remember, this is about survival. You want gear you can count on. Now that you know what to include, let's talk about how to build and organize your stockpile effectively. Building a stockpile isn't an overnight task. It's a gradual process that requires careful organization. So, how do you start building from scratch? The key is to start small and aim to gradually expand over time. It's not about hoarding, but rather about thoughtful accumulation. Think of it as a marathon, not a sprint. Begin by focusing on the essentials. Stock up on non-perishable food items, water, medical supplies, and survival gear. As your stockpile grows, you can start adding more specific items based on your personal needs and the needs of your household. Remember, it's all about being prepared for the worst-case scenarios. Now, as you're building your stockpile, one crucial factor to consider is organization. An unorganized stockpile can lead to waste and confusion when you need your supplies the most, so it's essential to keep things neat and orderly. Start by categorizing your items. Group like items together. Food with food, medical supplies with medical supplies, and so on. This will make it easier for you to find what you need when you need it. It's also a good idea to label everything clearly. This could be as simple as writing the contents and expiration date on a piece of tape and sticking it to the item. Next, consider where you're going to store your stockpile. The location should be cool, dry, and away from direct sunlight to maintain the longevity of your supplies. Make sure the location is easily accessible, too. You don't want to be scrambling to get to your supplies in a crisis. Lastly, don't forget to use a first-in, first-out system. This means using older items first and placing newly acquired items at the back of your stockpile. This will help prevent items from expiring before they're used. With a well-organized stockpile, you're on your way to being prepared. But how do you do this without breaking the bank? Building a robust stockpile doesn't mean emptying your wallet. Let's talk budgeting. Building the ultimate prepper stockpile is about smart planning, not spending every penny you have. It's about making thoughtful choices and prioritizing what's truly essential. So, how do you create a stockpile that's both comprehensive and affordable? Start by sourcing items wisely. Be on the lookout for sales and discounts. Retailers often offer deals on non-perishable foods, medical supplies, and survival gear. Take advantage of these opportunities to save money while building your stockpile. Next, consider buying in bulk. Many items like rice, beans, and canned goods are cheaper when purchased in large quantities. But remember, only buy in bulk if it's something you'll use. Wasting food or other supplies contradicts the purpose of prepping. Another crucial aspect of staying within budget is knowing how to prioritize your purchases. Not all items are created equal. Some are more necessary than others. Foods that offer high nutritional value, medical supplies for treating common injuries, and crucial survival gear like flashlights and blankets should be at the top of your list. Don't forget about the value of DIY. Many items in a prepper stockpile can be made at home for a fraction of the cost. From homemade candles for lighting to home canned goods, a little bit of do-it-yourself can go a long way in stretching your budget. Also remember that building a stockpile is a gradual process. You don't need to buy everything at once. Slow and steady wins the race. Purchase a few items each week or each month, depending on your budget. Over time, you'll create a robust stockpile without putting a major dent in your wallet. Finally, keep in mind that prepping is about more than just stockpiling. It's about developing skills and knowledge that can help you survive in a crisis. These are things that can't be bought, but they're invaluable in an emergency situation. So, you've built your stockpile and stayed within budget. But maintaining it is equally important. A stockpile isn't a set-it-and-forget-it deal. Regular maintenance is essential. Now, this isn't about dusting off cans and rearranging boxes, though that's part of it. We're talking about a comprehensive checkup and update of your stockpile. Think about it this way. Even the best items have an expiration date. Your non-perishable foods, your medical supplies, even your survival gear, all of it will degrade over time. So what do? You rotate your supplies. Here's how it works. Every few months, take a day to go through your stockpile. Check the expiration dates on your food and medical supplies. If something is close to expiration, move it to the front of your storage. Use it in your everyday life and replace it with a fresh item in your stockpile. This ensures that nothing is wasted and everything in your stockpile is as fresh and functional as possible. Now, this might sound like a lot of work, but consider the alternative. Imagine you're in the middle of a crisis. You reach for a can of food and it's spoiled. Or you need a bandage and it's damaged. That's not a situation you want to find yourself in. But it's not just about keeping things fresh, it's also about keeping things relevant. As time goes by, your needs may change. Maybe you develop a dietary restriction, or you add a new member to your family. Maybe the potential crises you're preparing for change. Your stockpile needs to reflect these changes. So, as you're rotating your supplies, take a moment to reassess. Do you have enough food for everyone? Do you have the right medical supplies? Is your survival gear up to date? If not, it's time to update your stockpile. And remember, this isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous process. As long as you have a stockpile, you need to maintain it. It's an investment in your future, in your safety, and in your peace of mind. With these maintenance tips, your stockpile will stay fresh and usable. But remember, adaptability is key. In a world that's constantly changing, your stockpile should too. Adapting to evolving needs and changing circumstances is crucial. As the world around us shifts, so too do our survival needs. Maybe there are more members in your family now, or perhaps dietary needs have changed. Or it could be that the threats we face have evolved. These changes necessitate a reassessment and adjustment of your stockpile. Consider the present and anticipate the future. What threats or challenges are emerging? What resources might become scarce? Adjust your stockpile accordingly. Remember, your stockpile is not a static entity. It's a living, breathing part of your survival strategy, always ready to flex and adapt. Don't be afraid to reassess and adjust. It's not about starting over. It's about refining and improving. With these tips, you're well on your way to building an ultimate prepper stockpile. Remember, being prepared isn't about fear, it's about peace of mind.